Good morning. This is Jason Dean coming live at you again for another Film Fanatic show. It's 9:29 on a Wednesday morning. So yeah, this is a special short little video I wanted to do. I It was funny. Last week I had mentioned in one of the videos that when I got to 600 subscribers, I was going to do a quick little video just kind of thanking everyone and all those good things. Because it's another, I feel like for what it is, and we're a little small potatoes kind of thing here, so but it means a lot, and so I had said, yeah, I'm gonna do another video. I did usually whenever there's another 100 subscribers over a period of time, I usually do a little show. I did a show when we were at 500 and then 400 and all those things. So I was gonna, do a little video, just mentioning a big thank you to everyone when I got to 600, and then and then last night I was kind of responding to comments that some folks have been leaving on some of the videos, and again, I really love that's what it's all about. So I really appreciate that, and I went to go ahead and respond to some of the comments because I do respond to every comment that's put on the video or videos. And I was like, oh wait, let me just check how many subscribers I have. And I looked at it, I was like, oh, 602. I was like, oh, okay, shit, so we're already here. So this is a quick little video, just kind of celebrating for what it is that we reached 602 here at Film Fanatics, Film Fanatic at this page. And, again, it's doing this whole thing. I've been doing it for about almost 3 years. It's been a super fun adventure. I feel like I'm still trying to learn a lot with all of these things, with technology, and then I'm always trying to come up with new ideas for videos, topics, segments. Everything is related to movies, of course, and music. So all of those things are, connected at the hip for me, and I always talk about all of those things, and then I always bring how a lot of these things influence me personally, and then if you want to say that word artistically, with my band Quantum, all of these things are really important to me. And on one hand, it's like movies are what they are. They're it's entertainment, or at least it should be, and that's all it should be. Going to the theater is I think um, the truest form of just escapism, and I think and again, my favorite style is horror film. Is obviously horror films and exploitation movies, but I try to bring a lot of variety to this channel. I'm trying to expand it more with different topics because there's so many things that I do love in the art of filmmaking. So and then so I look at it. I've always looked at it, you know, at two levels. Where on one hand, it's just fun entertainment. If a movie is going to be a good experience for yourself, or say a really powerful experience when you go see it, whether you're in the comfort of your own home and ideally in the theater, which is kind of the ultimate way, it should be a good escape for a couple hours out of the kind of just mundane, sometimes boring existence that we have. So, and on the other level, I feel like when it comes to art and filmmaking, especially when it comes to the arts, I think when someone goes out and tries to make a movie, I feel like it is the most challenging and most complex form of expression that there is. And also, on a deeper level, movies really do really inspire me on so many levels. I mean, again, for what it's worth, my band Quantum that I've had for almost about 10 years, we just celebrated our 10th year, which is crazy. Um, you know, Obviously, there's a billion bands and musicians and artists that inspire that that band, but the thing that's the most inspiring for Quantum is cinema, is film. And so, and I also feel like for me it's like, because I have such a respect for filmmaking, and I did, at one point I did experiment with becoming a filmmaker, and I did, so I have experience, kind of behind the camera, and where it started many many years ago, where I kind of ventured into it by trying to make some music videos for a band that I was in, and I did that for a while, and then I eventually moved into like, okay, I want to try making a film, and then I made this crappy little film called Rapture many years ago. Maybe one of these days I'll show it, but it's pretty bad. But I did that, and then I worked on a couple other little projects that but never really got, those things never really got off the ground. And I doing going through that experience, especially when I made my own film, it really gave me a whole new respect for what it is to be a filmmaker, because and to direct a movie. It's literal. It's pure insanity, and and it's and it's also magical. When a person takes on that role as a director, they are multitasking at such a high level that you you almost can't comprehend it unless you're like, you do that. You actually have that experience. You know, again, that's not to say all of these other arts are obviously very valuable. Whether someone is a really talented dancer and or a choreographs dances, or writes their own plays, or obviously, in my experience, performing music, recording music, all of those things are extremely complex, and they require a lot of work. But for the most part, in those respected forms of expression, you're primarily, focusing on a small set of things that you're trying to improve on, and you're trying to get better at. And but there, it's very focused on like, say, I guess I could think of it as like a component of expression, where, and even painting, I feel, anything in the visual arts. But with filmmaking, you're like covering trying to cover all of the bases, cinematography, lighting, how to set up a shot, how to set up a scene, placement of the camera, and then you're trying to figure out the budget aspect, how much money you might need, how much would that require, paying your actors, all of those things, and then the actual production of the film. But then you're also taking on the responsibility of the music. What kind of music are you going to be using? Casting the actors, who was going to play who, and then you're also going to be writing the screenplay, or involved with the screenplay, and then also trying to work on a level of where how that screenplay is going to be expressed, and then also the marketing of your film, how that's going to be done. Trailers and distribution and all of those things, and how you're going to shoot the film, especially this day and age where there are so many capabilities. So there's so many things, the color palette, costumes that you might want to use for the film. It's I mean, so it's so overarching, and there's so many facets to it. And I've often heard, well, I remember seeing an interview a long time ago with Ridley Scott, and he described filmmaking as like kind of being a general in a war. And so that's kind of what it's like, and because that process is so long and tedious, it takes a long time to actually finish a film. I mean, years, sometimes a decade. So, you know, and, you know, because I feel that way about film and the art of filmmaking being the most complicated and the most beautiful form of expression, it really resonates with me extremely, in such an extremely strong way. And it's, again, going back to my band Quantum for what it is the biggest inspiration for me. You know, from everything from soundtracks to pacing. You know, I just watched a video yesterday on Antonio Sanchez, who, if anybody out there does not know who Antonio Sanchez is, he's one of the greatest drummers on the planet. When I went to Berklee College of Music, he was graduating just about, and he was a few years ahead of me, and he's gone on to become one of the greatest players on the planet and one of the greatest teachers. Does tons of clinics, and I watched this clinic that he did, and it was really cool because I've always thought this way for a long time. It started to really come into my way of thinking when I was in college. But he made all of these great movie analogies, which I thought were so cool. And, you know, with spacing, giving time to having silence in the music. Also thinking of music and what you're playing as being characters, and you want to take them on this journey, and you want to take the audience on a journey. And there's a thematic vibe that you're trying to create. He made all of these cool, really cool analogies with film. And to me, like watching that video, because it was so great, fantastic. It was like, okay, that's another reason why I kind of do this channel, because I feel like those they're like, and why I talk about film, and then I also incorporate music videos. They're synonymous. They're connected. They're part of the same kind of DNA. So, and again, it's all about the reason I do this channel. You know, if there's a mission statement, it's about, well, just showing my, because I have a true passion for film, but main thing being trying to maybe talk about that obscure movie, or that movie that maybe I find at times no one else is talking about. And if I can bring a movie that I really, really love to the table and shine a little bit of light on, and other people might be interested in checking that out, that to me is the most rewarding part of this channel. So that's why I do it. And then also after that would be just kind of interacting with people who also have the same deep passion that I have. So I really want to thank everyone who has been supporting this channel. And, you know, we're at 602 now, 602 subscribers. So I truly could not do this crazy, weird thing that this Film Fanatic channel is, without you. So thanks again, and we will see you next time.